Hi, my name is Aru for tealstreet.io, and today I'm going to talk about something a little bit different from what you usually know in trading educational videos. So the idea behind this is I got a little bit of inspiration from the so-called Ace King Queen game in poker, which is a very theoretical approach to poker and a very game theoretical approach. It's basically just a little mini game that simplifies poker to a very simplified way. And what it does, it makes you understand the game a lot better than basically just playing the rules, right? Or basically just learning poker by itself. It will give you a really strong fundamental idea about the game theory behind it. So the plan of this series, or the goal of this series, is to give you a better understanding of basically of what the title here says is the game of trade. We will take a very game theoretical approach, and we will start with very simple or simplistic ideas, and we will add more and more complexity on the way along. And hopefully that this will give you some insight or give you some advantage out there in the trading field that you didn't have before. So first of all, how do we start here, right? First of all, we have to define what our goal is. If we trade, or in this, let's call it the game of trade for now. What's the goal? Obviously, the goal is, and I'm also already very sorry about my handwriting. It's gonna be really horrible, but yeah, I still don't have an S Pen, so I will get one for the next episode, so I can basically use my own handwriting and not use the mouse. But for now, we just gotta do it like this. It's gonna look terrible, but so what is our goal? So obviously, our goal in trading is we wanna have maximum profit, right? Max profit. And how do we achieve max profit? We choose a strategy. We need a strategy. And this is now a game theoretical. Oh shit, what am I doing? Strategy. That gives us the maximum amount of expected value that we can get. So this means strategy with so-called, let's call this EV for now. EV is expected value. Not only we do want max EV or max profit, we also want to achieve that in the shortest amount of time. So time is gonna be also a variable that we have. In all our equations, but we will, in our first episode, we will, in the beginning, we will ignore it, basically. So how does our EV look like now? So EV is basically, in game theory, what we call it when we have a chance-based outcome, and we wanna calculate this chance-based outcome, right? For example, we roll the dice, or we flip a coin and we bet against someone else on the flip of a coin, and then we want to know, like, what is the average outcome over 100 coin flips? In this case, what is our average outcome over 100 trades? So what would be the equation for the expected value now? And what would be the intrinsic variables that we have in the equation? I mean, obviously time is going to be a very important variable overall for trading as well. But time doesn't factor into the EV equation, at least for now. So our equation is gonna be, make this green. Is gonna be our take profit. Let's call this XTP. So this is in a specific trade or in one trade, how much money we would make if we hit our take profit target, right? Times the chance or the probability P that we hit it. So probability TP. And then we add our stop loss. By the way, this is basically our stop loss is pretty much what you could call what we are betting, right? So this is the amount that we are willing to lose in our trade, which is in general our stop loss, right? Unless you don't have a stop loss. And we will come to that later as well. So our probability to hit the stop loss is going to be multiplied by the amount we're going to lose. This is obviously going to be a negative number, and this is our whole equation and all the variables that we need. So we have the chances that either of these outcomes are happening, right? Chance to hit, TP or stop loss, and we're having our positive outcome, which is our take profit target. Take profit, and this is pretty much our bet size, which is our stop loss. Our position size is not going to be our bet size. So that's a pretty bad misconception. And in this equation, right? Oh shit. In this equation, we are not even we don't even have our position size in it, and there's a very easy reason for it, because it's really not interesting for the equation itself, right? But I'm going to explain that in detail as well. So this would be basically our bet size, or what we are really willing to lose, or stop loss. Okay, so now that we have all our variables together, we are going to play a really simple game with this equation. And as I said, we want to completely strip this down to the simplest way possible. So of course we could punch in some numbers here, right? But there's already a lot of videos about expected value on the internet, on YouTube, where people explain it very detailed, how it works with other examples of betting. This is basically just to tell you like what is what in trading. Okay, so we need our take profit target, we need the probability to hit it, we need our stop loss, and how much we lose on that, and we need the probability. And now what we're going to do, as I said, we're going to play a really simple game, and for that game I will see you on the next slide in a few seconds. All right, so now that we have cleaned this up a little bit more, let's talk about simplifying stuff. You can already see we changed the title to Salami game. We all know Salami. It can be a very simple guy at times and pretty one-dimensional. And we want to make a game that is as one-dimensional as possible, But before we do that, I just want to show you something that is also interesting. So usually from this formula, if we take the amount we win, right, xTP, and we divide it by the amount we lose, this is basically what we would call our risk-reward ratio in trading. Okay, so this would be equal to our RR, which we very often use. Just a note on the side. So for our salami game, what do we want to do? We want to make this as simple as possible, which means we are reducing as many variables as possible. So how do we do that? So we make that game in a way that it's pretty deterministic and we already know the outcome. So our hit chance, our lose chance is basically 0%, so we don't need this. And if this is 0%, then the amount we lose is also irrelevant, because 0 times something that is not even there is going to be 0. So the only thing that is left is a 100% hit chance to win the trade, and 100% means this is 1. So our formula is basically going to be this. How do we achieve that? So the salami game looks something like this. We have the salami coin, which only ever goes from 1 to 2, and we know that. And it goes from 1 to 2 pretty straightforward, looking a bit like a salami as well. So this is the timeline and this is the price. For even more simplicity, we can only ever buy one salami coin. So how would this look like in terms of EV, and how can we achieve the maximum EV now? So first of all, let's make a little chart where we look at the price and the expected value. You can already see where this is going, or most of you can already see where this is going, because this should be pretty simple, right? So the expected value, or the maximum EV that we have, EV max, is exactly the amount we win. So let's say we are pretty fucking stupid and we buy a salami coin at $2. How much can we win? We can win exactly 0. So this is the price. We buy a salami coin here. We can win nothing. Our EV is 0. For simplicity, let's put the 1 here. Let's say we buy a salami coin right in the middle at 1.5. What is our EV going to be? So it can go from 1.5 to 2. So the maximum distance is 0.5, which is going to be our expected value, right? And if we buy at 1, our expected value is going to be 1. So the EV is going to be the distance, or the delta, of the max price. Let's call that PR, because we already have P. So PR max, the maximum price, which is, I mean, in this case, it's obviously always 2, minus the price that we bought. Oops. Let's call that PRB. So the max, this is always 2, minus where we bought. For example, we bought in the middle is 1.5, and this is going to be 0.5, and this is going to be our expected value. All right, so one thing that we didn't factor in now, I mean, this is obviously pretty straightforward and pretty easy, but I think some of you can already see where this is going. So from this basis, from this really straightforward and easy basis, we can slowly add in more complexity and see where this goes, right? And how we might want to change our strategy, or what we want to do strategically different when we don't have such deterministic charts, for example. One thing to keep in mind, we didn't put time into perspective right now. So we completely ignored the variable of time, and what we're obviously also ignoring is how much we can bet, because we can only ever buy one, and we can also never short. So let's give you a little example of what could be the case if we add in time as a variable. Of course, if we add time and we can only ever buy, it's never gonna be clever to buy on the way down unless we hit the absolute bottom. So in this scenario, we obviously know where the absolute bottom is, but in a real scenario, you sometimes buy the dip and you're not gonna be knowing if it's a bottom or not. But you can already see we want to buy as low as possible in a realistic scenario. And in the salami game, we always only ever want to buy at 1. And if we don't buy at 1, we want to buy if the price is going up. Okay, so let's split this up into 2 games. We have the salami game, which looks like this. And then we have the wasabi game, which is exactly shifted 180 degrees, pretty much, if you want to call it that. So what would be our best strategy? So obviously our best strategy would be buying the salami coin down here, selling it at 2. This is 1, this is 2. And then we flip all our money into the wasabi coin, and we ride the wasabi coin all the way up, and we flip all our money into the salami coin. So in the real scenario, I mean, this sounds really simple, right? So basically, you could call this, or like in a real scenario in the crypto world, this would be like rotating from Bitcoin to alts, right? When Bitcoin is topped, we want to flip into alts, but obviously it's not always that easy because the whole market moves together. But this should, in general, this should just be just making you aware of that it can be, in terms of the EV, or if we factor in time, it can be a problem if you're sitting for too long into one coin and it's going down, and you are not sitting in something that is actually making your money or is actually moving in the right direction. I mean, of course, this is pretty obvious. And all of this in general, it's, for some of you, you will think, okay, why are you even telling us all of this? But what we can do here is we have a really simple basis, and now we can derive some more complex scenarios from this. For example, adding in time. I mean, this is also still pretty simple, right? What we also didn't factor in yet is that we're not only doing one bet, we also will have to have some kind of strategy or some kind of bankroll strategy to not go broke. Because even if we have a strategy that has a positive expected value, it doesn't mean that we can't go broke if we don't come up with a strategy that has like a very low risk of ruin. But that's something for another episode. For now, I'm just gonna leave you with this, and you can just look at this as a little thought experiment, and maybe some of you want to play around with this a little bit more and think what you can do and where this will go in the next episodes. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching, And shout outs obviously to the whole Teal Street community and the Teal Street gang. Follow us on Twitter, tealstreet.io. Follow me on Twitter if you want to, at Aru Cloister. Visit our website, tealstreet.io, and yeah, check out our trading terminal. And in the next episode, we're going to make this example a little bit more complicated. And yeah, you will see where this is going, hopefully. All right, thanks for watching, and goodbye.